Well, okay, this idea is actually two authors. This is part of entertainment history or intellectual history. Um, they're Mark Twain and Frank Baum, and both are well known. Mark Twain is actually more famous, but they were both well known at that time. Mark Twain was born in 1865 and died in 1910, and Frank Baum was born 1856 and died 1919. So first, we'll start with Mark Twain. So yeah, Mark Twain, also known as Samuel Clemens, wrote a number of famous books. Is actually one of the most famous American authors. He wrote the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which is commonly used in grade school or high school literature classes. Actually, very hard reading because it's very realistic in the sense that he uses the dialect of people along the river, where he grew up along the river too. So he uses that dialect in the story. Yeah. But many of these were adapted later to be more easily read or made into film. He also wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which again was famous and was enjoyed by children, teens, and adults. It was actually made into a television series much later too. But yeah, he's a famous author, Mark Twain. Um, his most treasured work, personally to himself, was Joan of Arc, which was about the famous saint and the woman who led the French army against the English in really what was almost an impossible task. Actually, it's a true story, but he wrote a true story book. He puts a lot of his time and effort into this book, and it was the work he was most proud of. Um, she, as you know, is famous. Joan of Arc. The statues in France, where in real life that's where she's from, and then other statues. But yeah, she's well known in the Catholic Church and went on to become a saint. So that's his most treasure work. So that's the story of Mark Twain. The other author we'll cover is next, and that's Frank. This is Frank Baum, 1856 to 1919, a famous American children's book author. Actually began as an actor, but then he went into writing. He wrote actually 55 novels. His most famous one is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which was a bestseller in the United States, and he is still famous actually, and it was made into an Academy Award winning film much later. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum, a writer of 55 novels. Uh, he was from 1856 to 1919, so that covers Mark Twain and Frank Baum, two well-known American authors. So yeah, Mark Twain and Frank Baum, literary history and history of literature in the United States.